Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to issue 109 and also 110 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator, week by week, built the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes, and explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator, issue 1, just $1.99.
So welcome back Terminator fans and my subscribers, and thanks for coming back for some more episodes of Build the Terminator. So as you saw in the last episode with issue 107 and 108, I fixed the back of the head fixed the back of the skull to the head. So that's all done now Terminator wise, and we also started working on the first part of the base. Today we're going to be adding the second part of the base to the first and connecting more details to that base, the skull and a few other accessories, pipes, metal bits and bobs, and also building another searchlight. And I believe there's going to be 4 searchlights in total because we've got 2 more to do in the future episodes coming, which will be 110 plus. But anyway, let's get started. Right guys and girls, issue 109. So as you can see, we actually have a discarded skull as they describe it. It's pretty big, to be fair, bigger than the Terminator's head. So I don't know if there were some giant humans around when they were killing people, but obviously when it goes on to the other section, it doesn't go on this one, it goes on the other side, which you'll see in the next episode. It is obviously half down, because you can see from that part there, so it's only half the skull. But before I show you the other parts, I've just, for the power of Amazon, I ordered them this morning, got them this evening. I've got my 2 extra skulls that I mentioned in the last video. So with these you can actually take off the jaw. So it is screwed in, you can see there, but I'll unscrew that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have one on the base with the jaw off, and it will have the cranium on top, and then the other one I'm going to keep the bottom part like so, and then just have a random bit of the skull elsewhere. Obviously they need to be painted because they're not going to be pure white in a battlefield full of dead humans. So but yeah, I'm really happy with those, and they're, in terms of like size, they're a little bit smaller actually, so I'm quite happy with that. So thanks again, Steve, for that recommendation on those. So obviously so that's part there. Then we've got a detail for the base. It's quite a nice weathering on the on that actually, so I'm quite impressed with that paintwork. So that's pretty cool. That's 109.1. Also we are making another searchlight. So obviously we've got all the components there again. Obviously for that part I'll whiz through that because we've already done that in the last episode, so it's quite self-explanatory, not really, I don't need to show you again. So I'll just skip ahead and obviously work on the base, because then I want to move on to connecting the base up together and obviously putting the other components together in that section. So let's get started. Right, so steps 1 to 8, obviously for issue 109, we are obviously going to be working on the searchlight again. I will just do a little bit of it quickly, just as a refresher, because I've just double checked in the magazine and I've only got to add 1 section to the actual base. So yeah, not a great deal to do. So if you remember, you just want to thread that on top. So this part is facing down and it's going to sit within the recess. So you're going to tie the wires round so that obviously they stay on. So you just want to loop those round so they'll stay fixed on until obviously you put the screws over from what connects the 2 over. So I've done that part there. So you grab the other part of the casing and you thread the end of the wire from underneath through the hole in the middle. Pull that wire right through like so, and then line it up so the screw holes are in the right parts, so then obviously you can screw those 2 together. And if you remember, that was the smaller PB screws we're using for that part. So I'm just going to line that up and then I'm going to screw, and I'll show you how it's looking after that. Okay, so I'm just securing that last screw now. I'll just show you before I move on. So that's how it's looking at that point. Now, if you remember rightly, we're going to take the lens and we're going to pop that over the LED in there. So all you want to do is just, you'll see there's that part there that threads over onto it, and we'll connect it down. So there's the click there, just click that in and that part is done. Then you want to take the stand for the actual light. So it must be facing when you have it this way, and you thread that through the wire all the way through. Pull them two together, because this obviously will go in line there, and then you can secure it with the screw, and if you remember, the M2 nut. So just pull that wire right through. Let's hold that tight. Obviously this is a little bit fiddly because the nut is naturally trying to move, so you must hold it in and down whilst you secure it. So you want one of the bigger screws. Remember, that's the PB 2 times sorry, it is the, let me double check, the PM 2 times 10 millimeter, the little black one. So I'm just gonna pop that through, get that back in the right spot, and then secure it. So, okay, and I've got that screw lined up, just holding the nut from underneath, and just screw that home so those two are nice and snug. Just remember to not over tighten it again, because obviously you want to be able to adjust the actual light itself, so you can see it's moving there. So that's that part done. We can move on to the next part. So I don't know if you can even call the step 9 to 11 even steps, because all you're doing is fitting that metal accessory just in this section here. So you'll see just underneath the first flashlight that we put in the last issue, that's going to slot in like so. And all you have to do is obviously put a bit of super glue on it. So again, it just says to put it on the recesses, well, just the one recess there. So it says to put a bit, use a cocktail stick, but we don't need to faff around with that. Just layer the glue on, obviously not too much, and obviously that will keep it fixed, because you'll see on the actual base there's a slit just there, and obviously that's where that part is going to sit in. So it's not rocket science. I'm sure you probably don't need to watch it, but just in case you do want to see, I'm showing you. And funny enough, I'm actually having trouble getting that in, surprisingly. There we go. Okay, so just hold that down for a minute or two, and that'll be that stage complete. Obviously the other searchlight you can see that I've just put together, we're going to connect that up on the other part of the base, which is come up in the next episode. So that's issue 109 complete. Right, so we've got quite a lot going on here. It's looking a lot busier on the surface now. So obviously this is issue 1010, the second part of the base. So let me just quickly show you how that looks. Just a bit up close and personal. It's a bit smaller than the other one. Obviously that's where we're going to put the skull on, and a few other more details, and the other searchlight. So in terms of the components themselves, so this longer one here, that's obviously the first pipe detail. Again, quite nice weathering. Then you've got your second one, slightly smaller. You've got a rusted spring here. You've also got some screws. So these are, you've got 5 of the 2 times 4mm PWB screws. And then also this little bit here, 1010-5, that's actually the joining plates. That's going to connect the 2 bases together nicely. That's obviously all the components we need. We also need, what we haven't used yet, the skull and the searchlight from the last issue. Right, so first things first, actually connecting the bases up together for steps 1 and 3. So what you're going to do, you're going to flip them round. Obviously be careful, because the other base has parts on it already. And I'm going to show you that there's, at the very top, there are some connectors, some little plastic holes there. So you've got, you can see that. So just there, that's the first one on that side. There's identical holes on the other part of the base there. And what we're going to do, we're going to line those 2 up together. And then once we've done that, we're going to align, put over the joining plate and then screw it into place. So just get those 2 locked in, make sure I've got them home. Okay, so it's recommended to use a bulldog clip, but I don't actually have a bulldog clip or anything like that. So I'm just going to put the joining plate over and then put the screws in. So obviously for those screws, you want the 4 screws I mentioned before, which are the PWB 2 times 4mm screws. So let's just grab those. probably is going to move a bit, so bear with me. It's a bit tricky, this bit, but I'll get it done. So what I've done, I've just done two diagonally to one another. So I will zoom in as well once I've finished editing this video. So I'm just going to try and show from this angle, just obviously screwing in the other two and how it should look. And then once I've done those two, I can move on to connecting up everything else up. Okay, so all the screws are in place and I'm just going to secure them now to the base. So I think those clips might have been a bit handy actually. Now as you can see, I'm holding it with my other hand, trying not to let it slip. But yeah, it will work. It's just obviously a bit more of a faff and not necessarily ideal, but if you can just see there, that's just where we're securing it up. So there, we fixed. Also, I'm not sure, by the way, I think there may be more of this base because I can't see how this is going to be big enough to have the Terminator on it. And also these four little plastic connectors where I've put this plate, there are two more on the parts here, so I think actually the base is going to be even bigger than this. So that's now, you can see it's holding its own weight. That's all connected up there, so I can flip him back round and I'll spin it around. So yes, keep it this way so it's facing your way, so you can see that's all joined up there nicely. Now what we're going to do, we're going to actually add the details. So taking the pipe work, 110.2 will go onto here. So I'm just going to check the orientation of that. So it just slots in, so you can see the recess again, it slots into that section there. And obviously again we just want to put some super glue on there, so I'm just going to do that now, and then I'll do the same for the other pipe work. And again, just put the glue on the side of the recess for those parts. Just hold that down for a few seconds. Okay, and then just going to check the other one as well. So there's a slot at the back. So there's a slot just there. That's where we're going to pop in that part. So nice and simple. Okay, that's that part. So now we're going to put the head down, and by the way, it says to not glue the skull, so not the head, the skull. And quite simply, you'll see there's the hole for that part there, and you're just going to slide it on like so. So that's nice and simple. Okay, once you've done those steps, we're going to move on to the final ones, which are steps 11 to 15. So first of all, we're going to take our second searchlight, and as before, if you remember on the other side, there was the hole on the very top of the base there. So what you're going to do is thread the line through that, and then that will just sit in that housing, and that's its new spot. So that will just click in like so. So you heard that. So there you go. Got two searchlights now. So that one, and as you can see, it can move as well. And then last but not least, we're going to be put this spring onto the actual base itself. So this bit is a twist function, it says, and I'm just double checking it's going to go underneath the searchlight, I believe. So just one thing to add, guys and girls, before I move on. Even though I've secured the base from underneath, there's still a little bit of a loose fitting, and I don't know if that's because obviously, like I said before, there's going to be more to come, obviously a large base. I mean, it has to, because this is not big enough. It has to be another 2 sections to get that bit to sealing, because there's a slight little gap there, but I will also use the bulldog clip like they recommend. It's underneath to keep it firmer anyway, because you can't see it, so it doesn't really make a difference. But anyway, the last section is obviously for that spring, like I said. You'll see here, just by where the flashlight is at the bottom, move a bit closer, this little groove here, the spring's going to go into there, and all you want to do is actually twist it into that spot, rotating it clockwise, and then that's going to actually essentially keep it fixed to that position. So I've twisted it on a couple of times and it's not really staying how I want it, so I'm just going to glue it. It says not to, well, it doesn't say not to do that, but I'll be honest with you, I'd rather just have it secured on there so it never pings off, especially if I move the searchlight around. Okay, so there we go. We have done the first and second base panels, and that's how it's going to be looking. So you can see the skull there, and there's all the parts. So it's looking pretty cool, to be fair. And rereading it, as it says in the next issues, there's gonna be 2 more searchlights, so there has to be 4 sections. So yeah, that makes sense now, that it's going to be much larger, and that obviously gives you space as well to put my other skulls on, because you know I want some more skulls. And just for fun, we'll put the little Terminator keyring one on there as well. So guys and girls, that is issue 109 and 110 complete. So everyone, we're finally done. Another 4 issues complete, and there'll be another 4 coming very soon. There's only 10 issues left, and that's it. We're done here in the UK. After all this time, all this pain, this sacrifice, the investment financially and whatnot, we're nearly done. And what we're going to be working on the next issue, like I mentioned, we're going to be attaching 2 more spotlights. So that's obviously 111, so I imagine 12, 13 and 14 will contain the other 2 sections of the base. And then after that, there's only, so it goes up to 114, there's only 6 left. So I don't know how they're going to stagger the deliveries. I think perhaps the last 2 will be the pole, so then you can connect the Terminator up to this base and he can finally stand up and be secure. So I imagine it's the next 2 bases, accessories for those bases, with the searchlights and whatnot. And then the remote as well, it's got to come at some point, because it's going to control the lights and obviously control the jaw as well to move, so that's really exciting. But this is really great. It's nearly done. I can't believe it's actually nearly done. So I'm really excited. Can't wait to get cracking. Once I've got the other ones, obviously because we already had to wait well over a month for this one, longer than usual, I'll do it because I just want to get it done. Obviously I know it'd be sad when it's finished, but I want to finish it. So anyway guys, hope you liked today's videos. If you did, as always, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you soon.